Hi guys, just a little short video. My last couple of videos have been pretty some heavy subjects, and I just wanted to keep it a little upbeat today. Something that popped up on my feed this morning. It was how do you stop Jehovah's Witnesses from ever coming back to your door? And it showed the caption of this brother and sister standing at the front door, and their householder standing there buck-ass naked. It was the funniest thing because it invoked a lot of memories for me of some of the things that I experienced when I was still actively going door to door. And I wanted to share some of those things with you guys this morning, as well as the contrast of working with different sisters in different car groups, and uh, it was just quite different, and being in different congregations in the inner city and then country congregations, and because I've had a taste of all of it, so I can kind of give you some perspective on what I experienced. But uh, I remember so many times when you go door to door, it's a little bit nerve-wracking because you don't know what's going to be on the other side of that door. And granted, there are some situations that are kind of scary, and and most of the groups that I worked with were cognizant of that. So they made sure that the sisters were always paired, and we had a more spiritually mature sister with a less experienced one. Or if we had children there, we made sure that the children were always with an adult, or whatever. But it's the groups were different. You would have the Pioneer Sisters. They had like their group and their cliques together. Then you had the older sisters, and I mean the elder sisters. Everybody kind of had their own little clique. And active witnesses, you know what I'm talking about. You have the ones that like to go out and service together all the time. And I know that the governing body also tries to encourage that you widen out and, be with different ones, because at some point that became a problem because it became so cliquish. But getting back again to just rank and file me, Jehovah's Witness going to the door. And again, you don't know what's going to be on the other side. And for me personally, I have had angry people cuss me out one side and down the other. Why in the blank, 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 blank are you here at my house? And we're trying to explain, and they're screaming at you to the top of their lungs, get off my property, don't ever come back. And we are just mortified. Number one, I really don't want to be there to start with. And then these people come at you and they're screaming and spewing at you. And then too, we also have what we call the sort of the different games. As we're walking up the drive, we can see the blinds open a little bit and close a little bit, or shake just a little bit, and we know we see you in there. We see you in there, and it's so funny. I remember in particular one time, as I was walking up, the blinds just slowly went down. And I noticed it, but I didn't say anything. And as we came up on the porch, one of the blinds, the little slats hadn't closed all the way. So it was still open a little bit. And it was just right at eye level. It wasn't I was peeking to see. It was just right at eye level. And I could see the mother and the children laying on the floor. They were laying on the floor. And I could see them. And I'm not saying a word. And the sister is still talking. She can't see, but I'm making eye contact. And they see that I see. Is the funniest thing. And I don't say a word. I guess they're not home. Lots of funny stories about that. And then, about if there's any active witnesses here, you guys know, whether you want to admit it or not, about the fudging of time. And maybe you've never fudged your time. Maybe you haven't. Maybe you're one of the ones that's never done it. But so many that I knew did. And it wasn't like, exorbitant amounts, they would be counting their time. Say, for instance, they would have like a return visit on one side of the territory. And then, who else has a return visit? And they go all the way on the other side of the territory. And within an hour, we have maybe made 2 calls, maybe 3 calls. But everybody in that car group would make time, because you're driving around from house to house, or from wherever you're going. That counts as your time. So this active witnessing that in their yearbook that they put, we had X amount of hours for teaching and preaching. A lot of that was driving time and picking up coffee and donuts at Starbucks. So I want to share that little piece with you. So when you read the new ones that are coming in, when you get the yearly yearbook, I don't know if they do that anymore either. I don't know if they discontinued that too, because they've discontinued a lot of different books. And I have a lot of books. Let me give you a peek real quick. You guys recognize any of those? I'm a thrifter, and when I find these books, I used to just pitch them or didn't care about it, but I've been picking up a few. And this is one that I found that was at my parents' house. And I grew up with this book, and a lot of the old timers will recognize this book. This was published, I think, in 1956 or 57. 56, 57, something like that. Old book. This is another one I want to share with you guys, too. This one is called Organize to Accomplish Your Ministry. One of the videos I told you guys that there's an actual school, Theocratic Ministry School. I think they've discontinued that now as well. But it was a school that taught you, what to look for, how to talk to people and all of that. Of what you're supposed to do when you're out in service. And again, newcomers, they're not going to tell you all of this stuff before you come in, about how many hours you're supposed to put in. And if you don't get those hours in, there's not going to be to where you're going to get kicked out of the organization because you don't put that many hours in. I think the basic number is, 10 hours a month for a publisher. If that's still in effect, I don't know. But if you don't get that 10 hours in, or if you consistently just get 10 hours in, there's going to be some little talks with you, little comments about, I'm going to go out and field service, why don't you come with me out in service and maybe we can get your time up? Or that one sister that's sort of been assigned to watch over you. And then the talks about this 71-year-old sister gets in 60, 65, 70 hours a month in, and, not to put, pardon me, not to put, when they do their talks, they make it seem like it's sort of like it's guilt. Again, they're trying to guilt you into doing more. But they, at the same time, they tell you Jehovah knows that whatever you do is your best. Just do your best, because Jehovah knows. And then on the flip side, they put the 71-year-old sister who's got 70 hours to your 10. And she's blind, and she uses a cane. Yeah. They do that too, the guilt. And you guys will see. Hopefully you won't see. These videos are to sort of warn you of what may be coming. But anyway, so the witnesses,